Ever wonder how someone survives the unimaginable? This is the story of a single mother battling homelessness, heartbreak, and hopelessness, who rose from the streets to become a quiet symbol of strength. Her journey isn't just emotional, it's a reminder that even in life's darkest corners, kindness and resilience can light the way. Stay with us, because this true story may change how you see struggle and second chances. The first time Sarah felt the cold bite of winter through the cracked windshield of her car, she told her 4-year-old daughter, Lily, they were camping. "Look, princess," she whispered, breath fogging the glass. "The moons are night, light to night." Lily's small fingers traced frost hearts on the window, unaware that home had become the back seat of a 2009 hatchback parked behind a shuttered strip mall. 2 weeks earlier, the factory that had employed Sarah for 9 years shut its doors overnight. The final paycheck barely covered groceries, rent slid into arrears, then eviction. 1 court date, 3 plastic bins of belongings, and a single set of keys turned over to a stranger in a suit. Everything else diapers, Lily's favorite picture books, the chipped ceramic mug that once held Coco Fit into 2 duffels that now served as pillows. Each morning, Sarah waited until the mall's security patrol passed, then slipped Lily into the public restroom to brush teeth with bottled water. She kept her voice bright, counting adventure steps across the icy asphalt. But at night, while Lily slept curled beneath a donated fleece blanket, Sarah stared at the ceiling upholstery and wondered how long courage could stretch before it snapped. Have you ever had to smile for someone you love while your heart was quietly breaking? The shelter intake line started at 4:47 a.m. Sarah rocked Lily against her chest, the child's strawberry curls damp with fever. Ahead, a woman in paint-splattered coveralls clutched a folder labeled "Eviction Notice." Behind them, an elderly man murmured to a service dog in a vest too faded to read. When the doors opened at 8, the intake worker's soft voice felt like a lifeline. "We have a family room tonight," she said, sliding forms across the desk. Sarah's hands trembled too hard to write her own address. She simply wrote, "None." The room smelled of bleach and old spaghetti, but the bunk bed was clean. Lily pressed her cheek to the lower mattress and whispered, "Mama, it's squishy like Nana's couch." Sarah laughed then, startled herself by crying. Days blurred. 5:30 wake up for showers, breakfast trays of oatmeal and canned peaches, job search computers with cracked screens. Sarah learned to arrive early at the library to snag a 1-hour session, uploading resumes until her eyes burned. Rejections trickled in, overqualified, underqualified, no permanent address. One afternoon, she overheard 2 volunteers discussing a warehouse hiring seasonal packers. Sarah sprinted 6 blocks in leaky boots to be first in line. The manager glanced at Lily, perched on her hip, and asked, "Can you start tomorrow at 6?" Sarah swallowed the lump in her throat. "Yes, just tell me where." That week, she stored hope in small rituals, folding Lily's clothes into neat squares inside a plastic drawer labeled "Future," tucking $1 into the shelter's communal birthday jar, even when it meant skipping coffee. Each morning she repeated, "We are not stuck. We are paused." When life feels like a permanent pause button, how do you convince yourself to press play again? On her 3rd payday, Sarah bought 2 bus passes and a rotisserie chicken. She split it 3 ways with a roommate whose toddler hadn't tasted meat in a month. Later, she found a flyer for a community closet hosted by St. Luke's Church. Inside the fellowship hall, racks of coats hummed with Stories prom dresses turned winter layers, blazers that once closed $1 million deals now warming shoulders like hers. A volunteer named Mrs. Alvarez pressed the lavender scarf into Sarah's hands. For interviews, the woman said, eyes twinkling behind bifocals, purple brings out courage. Sarah wore that scarf to every meeting until its fringe frayed like prayer flags. The warehouse promoted her to lead packer after she fixed a jammed conveyor belt with a hairpin and sheer nerve. Still, the paycheck wasn't enough for first and last month rent, so Sarah enrolled in a night class certificate program logistics and inventory management subsidized by a local nonprofit. Classes met in a repurposed elementary school, desks replaced by long tables and donated laptops. Professor Nguyen, a retired supply chain engineer, stayed after to tutor anyone who asked. He noticed Sarah's meticulous color-coded notes and offered her a part-time internship coordinating shipments for a food bank. "You're already managing chaos with grace," he told her. "Let's give you a title." Every Tuesday, Sarah pushed Lily in a stroller down aisles of canned corn and rice, scanning barcodes, labeling boxes bound for shelters just like the one she'd left. She felt the circle closing pain transformed into purpose. One evening, a driver named Marcus handed her a coffee and said, "You know, seeing you here reminds me my mom once stood where you did." Keep going. Have you ever felt a stranger's words land like a hand lifting you over a wall you thought was endless? 6 months later, Sarah signed a lease on a one-bedroom apartment, the top half of a kind widow's house, sunlight pouring through lilac curtains. Lily insisted smelled like outside candy. The first night, they ate pancakes for dinner because Sarah could finally afford real maple syrup. She tucked Lily into a twin bed with dinosaur sheets and whispered, "We made it, baby." But making it, she learned, wasn't a finish line, it was a baton. Sarah started small, a cooler of sandwiches left outside the shelter's exit every Friday, each bag decorated with Lily's crayon hearts. She created a blessing board at the warehouse cork tiles where workers could pin needs, size 7 winter boots, bus tokens, and offers, free haircuts, resume help. The board filled until it resembled patchwork quilt squares of human care. When a co-worker's teenage son aged out of foster care with nowhere to go, Sarah opened her sofa. She called it Practicing Home. Word spread. Pastor Jonah invited her to speak at St. Luke's, nervously clutching index cards that read simply, "Tell them the truth." Sarah stepped to the podium, lavender scarf now wrapped around Lily's doll. She spoke of nights in the car, the humiliation of eviction, the moment Mrs. Alvarez saw her not as a statistic, but as a mother deserving dignity. At the end, she invited the congregation to donate backpacks filled with new socks, deodorant, and a handwritten note that said, "You matter." Within weeks, 300 backpacks lined the church's pews like quiet promises. But the true shock came next. A local news station caught wind of the backpack drive. The reporter, a woman whose own sister had battled addiction and homelessness, asked to film Sarah's next distribution. Sarah hesitated. Fame felt like a betrayal of the fragile anonymity shelters provide. Yet Lily, now 5, squeezed her hand and said, "Maybe someone else's mama needs to know she's not alone." The segment aired on a Thursday evening. By Friday morning, Sarah's inbox held messages from teachers offering tutoring, landlords with vacant units, a bakery pledging day-old bread every morning. The ripple had become a wave. 1 year to the day she'd signed her lease, Sarah stood before the city council in a navy blazer secondhand, but pressed and shared numbers. 127 families housed through the Home for Good pilot she'd helped design. 84 jobs secured via resume workshops. 38, 0 in donated first-month rents. Her voice cracked only once when she read Lily's note to the council. "Dear Grown, Ups, thank you for giving my mommy a key." The council voted unanimously to expand funding for rapid rehousing programs. Outside, reporters asked how it felt to be a beacon. Sarah answered, "I'm just light reflected from other people." When was the last time you realized your reflection might be the light someone else needs? The apartment now holds 2 IKEA bookcases on for Lily's chapter books, one for gratitude journals Sarah gives to every family she mentors. On Tuesday evenings, Sarah hosts kitchen table talks, mismatched chairs circled around crockpots of chili. A newcomer, a father clutching a toddler's mitten like a lifeline, whispers, "I didn't think people like you existed." Sarah slides a bowl toward him and says, "People like me are people like you." Just a few Tuesdays ahead. Last winter, during the city's first snowfall, Sarah drove back to the strip mall. The hatchback was long gone, but she stood in the exact parking spot, engine off, windows down. Snowflakes melted on her cheeks like silent applause. Lily built a tiny snowman on the curb, giving it a carrot nose from the grocery bag Sarah now carried without flinching at the total. In that moment, she understood survival isn't the absence of scars. It's the art of turning them into constellations others can navigate by. So here is the truth we carry from Sarah's journey. Homelessness is not a character flaw, it's a chapter, not the whole book. Resilience isn't loud, it's the quiet decision to get up one more time than you fall. And kindness? Kindness is the currency we mistakenly believe we can't afford to spend, when in reality it's the only investment that multiplies the moment it leaves our hands. If Sarah's story stirred something in you, anger at injustice, tenderness for strangers, hope for humanity, then don't let the feeling end here. Look up your local shelter, food bank, or community closet. Ask what they need. Maybe it's diapers. Maybe it's an hour of your time. Maybe it's simply your presence saying, "I see you." Small acts, stacked together, build bridges out of despair. And if you'd like to keep hearing stories where ordinary people become extraordinary simply by refusing to give up and by refusing to let others give up, please subscribe to The Kind Story, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who might need a reminder that tomorrow can be different. Leave a comment below. What's one way you've been shown kindness when you needed it most? Your answer could be the spark for someone else. Because somewhere tonight, a mother is buckling her child into a back seat, whispering brave lies about camping. Somewhere, a volunteer is folding donated coats and wondering if it matters. It does. It always does. And the light you shine, whether it's a scarf, a sandwich, or simply a story, might be the first ray that guides them home. Disclaimer. This story is an original work for The Kind Story, created by human writers with AI assistance for formatting or narration. It reflects real-life inspired emotions and adheres to YouTube's community guidelines and monetization policies.